All right, so we're back. I know it's been a while. The market hasn't been presenting anything to trade, but we're officially back. It's been like almost 2 weeks, week and a half. It's probably even been 2 weeks. Who knows? We've been on a hot streak, win after win after win after win, week after week after week after week. This is part 2 of our last video. Did we do it? Like, did we officially hit 3,000 on the account? It's a good video. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say we did, not gonna say we didn't. It's a good video. Watch it all the way through, like the video, comment, and if you are new here, subscribe. Let me just give you a quick insight if you're new. We started with $60 in our account. We took 60 to 145, 145 to 323, 323 to 959 in 3 weeks. Watch the video. Let's see what happens. It looks good. It looks really good. Updates coming in the AM. Good morning, my people. So obviously, you can see we lost this setup, which is fine. I was waiting on the first loss of this challenge, and it came on this pair. But what I do see is still, like, I still see opportunities due to the 4 hour still being bearish, due to the 1 hour still being bearish until we break past this little minor structure point. It's not our overall structure. Our overall lower high is around right here. I just marked this off because this is like minor structure. So if price breaks above, I'm simply going to walk away because it's breaking that structure. But we're still abiding by those rules. We're still bearish. And so what I'm anticipating, I'm gonna draw out the structure on the 1 hour so you can see what I see. The 1 hour time frame is basically just forming a retracement, and it looks like price is forming that double top scenario on the lower time frame. But right now, this is what price looks like on the 1 hour. We can see clear as day, we have the breaker structure. Price has this push. We then have the retracement. Looks like price wants to have the break, retest, and then continuation, but that wasn't the case. Price had that push, and then it looks like we're having another push back towards the upside, possibly forming a double top scenario. It's not the cleanest, but you can see we are in that same vicinity where price is still showing rejection. So I'm expecting for price to get back underneath my zone. One, this zone being the 1 hour area of interest where we're looking to take a trade. And then once price can break back underneath the zone, I simply wait for the 5-minute time frame to perform this breaker structure, which I am waiting on around here. So I'm gonna see what happens. Right now the account is at 362. We lost almost $600, but we didn't. Almost. We lost 596, and I wanted to risk like 55%. Where I got filled in, price pushed that 55% to now 62%, which is fine. I'm not like, it's not the end of the world, right? So the goal now is to take the 362 to at least, what do I have, 724, or originally back to the starting balance in 953. So we're just gonna see what happens. I do still see opportunities on this pair if price gives me that breaker structure. So if price gives me a breaker structure, I will possibly be entering a second position on this setup. It's still a good setup. Everything is still abiding by those rules. So we're gonna wait and see. But if price does break above here, we simply walk away and wait for a better setup or the next trading opportunity. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna update y'all like always later on. All right, y'all, like I can't make this up. Look at this. Exactly what I just broke down to you all is happening. Price is forming a rejection towards this minor area. We're having this hard push back towards the downside. Price is slowly but surely about to present us with that breaker structure, and I will be looking to capitalize on this trade. So if we are presented with opportunity and we do find an entry, like always, I'm just going to cut it back on and show y'all, and then we can just... All right, y'all, so it's looking like we were just completely wrong about this setup. Price did have some type of move towards the downside, but left us with this huge wick. You can see how price now is pushing back towards the upside, staying above the zone, treating it as support. So we walk away. It's Wednesday. Let's see if we can have, I doubt we will have another trade opportunity this week. So we'll have to see. It's still time. Price still has time to do what it needs to do. So updates like always will be coming. Y'all don't realize how frustrated I am. We had all 3 trading pairs play out to the T. Hold on. NZD CAD, NZD USD, USD CHF. The only downside, USD CHF didn't give us an entry. NZD CAD, our entry came at 6 in the morning. I was asleep. I get up at 7 in the morning every day, but I just told myself I just got to start getting up at 6. NZD CAD, it presented us with an opportunity. I just didn't like how it looked until we presented this clean breaker structure around here. But by the time we had this break, price never pulled back towards this entry and never got our entry. So that's fine. It's just, bro, alone, if I was up and I got my position on NZD USD, currently we're up around 3.64%. I would have been risking around 200, and then we would have taken the account back to $1,000. So just get up earlier. Hold yourself accountable. I can't blame nobody but myself, bro. Golly, bro. Just get up earlier. Sleeping in until 7, bro. Just get up at 6. I always get up at 7, and every time I get up at 7, my opportunities present themselves. That's the only reason I get up at 7, because I realize every single time I'm entering a trade, it's a set. Look at this, my trading journal. I can show y'all that. I just made a new one, so don't worry about like only 6. So look at this. Every time I'm taking a trade, it's after 7 o'clock. This happened at 7:04. All my trades happen after 7 o'clock. So I told myself, well, damn, if I'm entering trades after 7, I should just get up at 7 to see what the market is doing. I'm just gonna get up at 6. I'm just gonna get up at 6. Both pairs, bruh. Both pairs playing out to the T. This is so frustrating, bro. If I'm just up, just wake up. What am I sleeping in for, though, bro? It's not a big deal. I prayed about it. Gave it to the Lord. I asked for peace, clear mindset, so I can go on about the week. Possibly an opportunity, AUD, USD. Possibly not, bro, but we'll see. I'm just mad, bro. This was such a good opportunity. Such a good trade that we missed. Here's what it is. I'm giving y'all the ins and outs. Account's still sitting at 362. We could have taken the account to 1,000 plus based off of NZD USD alone. All right, y'all. I guess I'm about to just start editing so I can get this video out to y'all this Friday. So basically, let's go back to here. We started at 953 this week. Took that trade on CAD JPY. Lost for 360. Well, we lost for 62%. Took the account back to 362, which is fine. Not worried about that. So now the goal is to take this 362 to, what did I say, 742. All right, let me finish editing. Y'all, what's good? Welcome back to another week. Today is Monday. No, today's Tuesday, November 4th. And yeah, let me show y'all updates on NZD CAD and NZD USD. So NZD CAD, yeah, played out to the T, 3.16% in return. Could have made, obviously. We didn't enter this trade. Really good setup. So when I told y'all price presented us with opportunity like at 7 in the morning, it actually presented us that opportunity at 2 in the morning. I did, a back test. It gave us an entry at 2 in the morning. We were asleep, so I wasn't really truly mad once I understood that. But what I am still upset about was NZD USD. This beautiful, beautiful trade, 3.43% in return. And this entry came at 6 in the morning, like I told y'all in the last clip, basically. This is a new week, so bear with me. Y'all are used to clips. I'm used to days, weeks, hours, months, years. So yeah, it happened at 6 in the morning. Couldn't do anything about that. And then last, I think it was the USD CHF. It played out to the T. You can obviously see price bounce. I have to delete this because that's nothing I entered. But price bounced from here and then had a beautiful move towards the upside. So all three pairs played out to the T. We just simply missed NZD USD, and then NZD CAD. We was presented with opportunity, but we were asleep, so I wasn't truly worried about that. So let me show y'all the account where we're sitting at. I think we're sitting at like 363. Yeah, 362. I'm rounding that up. 363. So 363. We're looking to take the account to like 726. Take the account to 726 by the end of this week, and then continue to flip the account like so. We were at 953, 956, or 959 last week, but we took that L on just a stupid setup. It wasn't a stupid setup. So CAD JPY, it was just a really bad trade. I should have walked away from this trade. The main reason, if I take away the drawings, we see this huge wick towards the downside from this bearish candle. I should have walked away. I was still trying to take this trade because I wanted to see this next candlestick open, fill this previous candlestick wick, but it did not happen. Ended up taking us out. It's my fault. I should have walked away. I didn't walk away. I was being a little greedy, a little aggressive, but everything still lined up and added up in our plan. So as long as I was still abiding by my plan and abiding by those rules, I'm not really mad about a loss. It's part of the game. It's going to happen. I was just trying to fill this candlestick with this aggressive type of entry. So took that 596 loss. You can obviously see right here that 596 loss, which brings the account to 362. So now our goal, flip this 362 to 726, possibly back to 953, or even touch the $1,000 mark. Who knows what can happen? I'm going to update y'all throughout the week, throughout the days of us either catching this position or simply moving on to a different pair, and y'all will figure out the outcome. Let's flip this little 363 to 760. What'd I say? 726. And then go from there. I think I'm getting a little sick. Not cold sick. My allergies are really bad. Every year, go from hot to cold. Same time, my allergies kick in. I get bed rest. But all right, I'm gonna update y'all with whatever happens. Like always, y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all, so USDCHF is the trade I recently just found. Starting off on the daily time frame. Why does my chart feel so zoomed out? You can obviously see price is bullish, right? We can see price is bullish. We have higher high, higher low, recent breaker structure happening around here. But price is recently getting back underneath the zone. And you can obviously see that happen on this candlestick closure around here. After we got back underneath the zone, this allowed the 4-hour time frame to go from this bullish to then bearish market with the recent breaker structure lining up with that daily zone as well. So you can see when price had this initial breakup structure on the 4-hour, the 1-hour had the exact same breakup structure. So like you all know, 4-hour, 1-hour, we are in sync. Where can we see the 4-hour retrace to? Well, the 1-hour time frame, we can clear as day see the recent breakup structure happen around here. This is when we grab that box tool and we drag it out and we count the rejections. We have 1. If I zoom out, drag it towards the left, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to zoom in, but you can obviously see the rejections. 1, because it has matched up with the recent daily break of structure. So after seeing the multiple rejections, after seeing the 4-hour and the 1-hour in sync, and we can see price retrace back towards this area of interest, this is when I drop towards the 5-minute time frame to see if we can have the bullish to bearish flip. On the 5-minute time frame, you can see how price went from this bearish to bullish trend, allowing the higher time frames to get back towards this area of interest. And then after price had the retracement, you can see where we left this huge push towards the upside, leaving us with the higher low, higher high, and then the recent breaker structure happening around here. It was 2 scenarios. We can either see price have the continuation breaker structure, and then we just wait for the switch back towards the bearish trend, getting back below that daily structure, back underneath our entry zone, and then we find our entry. And then 2, the second option, which just happened, is price gives you the breaker structure around here, which obviously happened around there. Price gave us the breaker structure. We can see that happen, and then price went back from this bearish to bullish trend, and then back bearish with the last breaker structure happening around here. So you can see when price pushed bullish, price then went back bearish. As price went back bearish, you can see the first original breakout happened around here. We don't have an entry. Price then has the retracement, and then the next push establishing what? The next break of structure. After price had this next break of structure, or this second push back towards the downside, this is when we found our entry, stops just above. And then like you all know, once I find my entry, my first original targets, I want to see us get back that 1-to-1, showing me that this is a decent risk to reward setup. So after I saw this 1-to-1, I said, okay, this is an entry I would like to have. I adjusted my take profit towards the lowest wick, which got back a 1.68, and I just adjusted a little bit more to give us a 1-to-2. So now we're looking something like this. This is the setup, and yeah, we're simply waiting now. And like always, I'm going to bring updates throughout the day, updating y'all with what goes on with this trade. This is a amazing setup. This is why we found this entry. This is why we triggered our entry. I didn't see it last night because, again, I'm still getting over my sickness. I do feel 10 times better, so give all praise to the Lord. This is what I saw when I was breaking down the charts this morning, which pushed me to enter this trade. So now we're going to wait, see what happens. And like I said, so let's see what takes place. All right, everyone. So we ended up losing this trade. You can obviously see we are now back at the original starting balance, 159, 160. Obviously, we lost this setup, but I believe that I was probably just too zoomed in to the charts as I was breaking down the market. The reason why I say that is because zooming out, you can see how this was just a mesh up in the market. And I should have walked away and just wait for cleaner structure, which is cool. We didn't do that. You live and you learn. And the only reason I'm truly upset is because, like y'all know, we're attempting to flip this to whatever the Lord allows us to flip it to. We already took it to a decent amount. You can obviously see all the trades we've been taking so far have been sales, counter trend setups as well. The setup was clean if this was a clean breaker structure, but it wasn't, which resulted in that L. I might deposit that $200 back just to get us back at the original balance, and then we go from there, because we should have never took this trade. We know that. We should never took this trade. So I might do that. I might just deposit the money back and we'll go from there. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because we're gonna scratch that. Like I said, bro, we should never taken a trade. We taking a trade because I believe it was correct market structure, which it wasn't. That's fine. So we're going to deposit the money back, and we're going to start at the original balance, and we're going to continue the challenge from there. I don't care if you believe it's cheating. It's not. We should never took this trade. We learned our lesson, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to update y'all in the next clip of us taking the correct market conditions and see how the market rewards us then. All right, y'all. So like I told y'all, we deposit the $200 back into the account. So we are now back at 355. Yeah, you can obviously see price hit our stop loss and had that push back towards the downside. So the overall bias of the direction of the market was correct. It was just the trend as far as the 4-hour time frame was incorrect. Well, structure, I should say, as far as the 4-hour time frame was just incorrect, and that's just something that I have to deal with. I have to just make sure that we are zoomed out in the market, being able to analyze it the correct way and not zoomed in like so, to where we make the mistake of taking a position where we basically should not be entering. It's just simple as day. Updates like always are still coming. Y'all stay tuned. We're about to catch a banger. That's simple. Yo, I got that heater on, so if y'all hear like a don't worry about it, it's the heater. It's cold and I'm leaving it on. Look at this, bro. Price fell, even though structure bias, it was wrong, but overall directional bias, it was correct. So this trade, it didn't make sense, which is why we deposited the money back inside the account. So we're sitting back at 355, or I think we started like 361, 362, no matter, we're right here. Yeah, it just didn't make sense. So we deposit that $200 loss back inside the account. You can see right here, we took $203. Didn't happen. Price absolutely tanked though towards that direction, which is pretty good. I'm happy that it happened because it again showed us that the overall bias of direction, it was correct. It was just the structure that we drew out, just it wasn't the idea structure. But right now, I am looking more towards Euro USD and then NZD USD. I'm not going to do a breakdown right now because I want to see if price can give me what I'm looking for. So I'm going to wait until price develops a little bit more. But I just had to cut y'all on to show y'all this. But all right, I'm going to cut y'all back on if something happens, and then we can hit a breakdown and get this 355 back to 900, close to 1,000. So, all right, y'all. So we got opportunities. Euro USD looking like the pair we will be trading for tonight. So daily time frame, we can see on the daily time frame that price recently got a closure above our recent break of structure. You can obviously see how price was trending in this bearish trend. We have the break of these lows, lower high, lower low. This allowed that 4-hour time frame to go from this bearish to bullish trend due to the break of these lower highs, and then we can see the continuation break of this higher high, now leading us to have this higher high, higher low. And you can see how price is having the initial pullback. I'm expecting price to pull back towards my 1-hour zone since the 1-hour and the 4-hour are in sync. I'm looking for price to pull back towards that recent breaker structure around here, allowing us to see that the 1-hour did have the break towards the upside, breaking past the overall structure highs, but that last structure break being around here. This structure break is also in sync with that daily area of interest, which is really, really good. And then price is already working its way back down towards this zone. Last, like you all know, that 5-minute time frame, it has to go from bullish to bearish in order to get back towards the zone, which we're already doing. So I'm simply just allowing price to work its way all the way back down, and then either later tonight or tomorrow morning we can possibly find some type of entries on Euro USD to capitalize on this position back towards the upside. Looking at it from the daily time frame, we could possibly see price reach this lower high just due to this area being a strong area of resistance slash support. So I would be looking for price to push all the way towards this lower high structure area, but if not, like you all know, I'm just looking to target those 1-hour structure highs. And if I go towards the weekly time frame, this is a really good trade towards the upside, because the weekly time frame, we can see that we're bullish and price recently is having the retest of this recent break of structure. Weekly time frame also gives us a piggyback, even though we don't use the weekly. This is just extra confirmation that we're having. So I do like this trade for later tonight. We want to see what happens as price continues to develop, and we still have to wait and allow the 4-hour to tap back into the zone. So we have to see in the next basically 4 hours to see what happens with this candle. So stay tuned for updates. This is the pair we're looking to trade for tonight, and like always, I will be updating you all with whatever happens. All right, y'all, so I just left the gym. I gotta keep my phone low because I don't know where the popo's at. But yeah, price is moving amazing. We found an entry as we got to the gym. Like as soon as we popped up at the gym, our entry was presented, and that's, I don't think I did a screen recording, but I guess I'll pop it up on the Discord. So we found the entry.
I'm headed back to the house now to do more of a breakdown for you all. So once I get back to the house, we'll do more of a breakdown talking about it, seeing what the account is looking like. But the account should be at a good position. I say more, we're above the 1-to-1 risk to reward, so I think we're sitting above like 200, probably close to $300 now. So we're gonna see what happens, and like I said, I'm gonna update y'all as soon as we get back to the crib. All right, y'all, so just got back from the gym. You can obviously see we got our position. I entered my position while I was at the gym. I'm about to show y'all that right now. Right here, you can see 8:45. We got that position around there. And then now, 2 hours later, or an hour and a half later, you can see our price is moving. So right now, we are currently floating around 255 equity in the accounts at 613. I want to see where the account is fully going to play out at, which our stop loss is projected at 201, which is what I want. I wanted to risk around $200. And then 16,060, we're looking at a possible 410. So bringing the account to, like I said, like 7 something. We're gonna see how the 4-hour candlestick closes, because I want to see just a hard push. So we got another 2 hours before that happens. If we can have a hard push, I would love that, because I want to see the account at least get close to that $900 or $1,000 mark. So we're gonna see. We're having a push, but like I said, anything can happen. We're going to stay patient and allow price to develop a little bit more. Y'all know I don't put a take profit, because if we hit that goal, we can squeeze out more profit. So let's see what happens. We're going to keep holding this trade. Like I said, bro, USD CHF was a horrible trade, but you can obviously see the directional bias of the market was overall correct. It was just the structure portion where we were wrong, and price is absolutely tanking towards the downside, which is good. That's what you want to see, because we were right overall, but wrong with the structure. That allowed us to catch this position on Euro USD, which is moving nicely. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So price is looking good. We're holding. It's taking us back to the original possibly starting balance of 953 before we took that stupid loss on CAD JPY, I think it was. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna update y'all when something good happens. All right, so updates for the trade. This is what I'm expecting. Daily time frame. We know that daily time frame, it looks beautiful. We can see this huge, well, actually, let's just do this. We see this huge wick rejection. And if I bring the drawings back towards our area of interest, that daily structure level, which is really good, is showing price having a close above, having a retest on the lower time frames, and now having the continuation move back towards the upside is basically what I wanted to see. 4-hour time frame is, I also like the 4-hour time frame, because we have the simple break, retest, bullish engulfing, and I'm now expecting price to continue this move towards the upside. If we go towards the lower time frames, we can see clear as day what there is to be expected is that price on this 15-minute, we worked our way down, breaking past this higher low portion. And what I'm expecting is price recently have this switch from bearish to now bullish structure, breaking past our lower high. Right now, price is looking like it wants to form the retracement back towards this area of interest. If I grab my box tool and I mark this zone out, this is a zone of support / resistance where you can see right here, right? And if we zoom out and continue to drag it off towards the left, we can see this zone get treated very well as resistance. So what I am expecting is for price to pull back down if it does want to, reject from this zone, possibly find support, and then we can push towards the upside, towards our targets around here. And then our targets, like you all know, since I'm using my 1-hour structure point area of interest for my entry zone, I use my 1-hour structure highs for my take profit. This is potentially bringing us back a 1 to 2.23% in return, and we'll just have to wait and see. So we have, if I go back towards the 4-hour, because I want to see how this 4-hour candlestick closes, if price in the next 3 hours, basically allowing us to have that daily closure, doesn't have that push towards the upside, hitting those TPs, I'm going to continue to basically hold. Like you all know, I either hold towards stop loss or take profit. By the time, say if price decides to have this push and we don't have that candlestick closure just yet, and price starts to move our direction like so, price can easily hit our TP level. And once price hit our TP level, I'm not looking to close just yet. I want to allow my candlestick to close. Once my candlestick closes, that gives me more of a judgment on if I want to hold or if I want to close fully. But if price closes like so, right, we have this push, price closes around 4 o'clock and we hit our TP and price is around here, I will simply close this trade at the peak of our closure around here, possibly bring it back a 2.42% return. But say price hits our TP level and we still probably have like an hour left until this candlestick closes. Easily we can possibly see price do something like this, start to form a wick rejection towards our highs, and a lot of people, like y'all know, will probably get scared due to price showing rejection towards my area of interest. But I told you all, I wait for those candlestick closures, and if I have an hour left on this candlestick, price can easily fill this wick back out, having the continuation move back towards the upside, have some type of push like so, and then we close around this area. Now I can simply close my trade around here based off of me allowing price to fully develop. And if we see price close up here, obviously we will possibly get back a 3.43%, not being the actual price or actual percentage. This is just a guesstimate, but this strategy of allowing price to fully close allows us to get a bigger reward in return, or a higher reward in return. But say if price does form some type of wick rejection towards my area of interest and price close around here, I'm not going to close my trade right here because I'm only getting back a 1.94%. Yes, we hit targets, but it doesn't make sense for me to close because I'm not getting that percentage back in return. So what I love to do, I would love to just allow price to close like so, and then I simply wait for the next candlestick to do whatever it wants to do. If it decides to drop all the way down, it drops all the way down, and I lose this trade. This is how I trade. But typically what happens is price will have some type of push like so, and then not give you a closure all the way up here, but probably give you a closure around here on that next candlestick, getting back towards our full take profit, and again closing above to give you more profit in return. I'm not saying this happens all the time with price, but typically the amount of times price left me with a wick and then that next candlestick opened after I closed, it had that fill back towards the upside, hitting our full take profit. So that's what I'm going to be waiting on. Not saying it's going to happen, but I have an idea that price can have a clean push towards the upside. Why? Because everything is falling in sync, showing me uptrend structure. Yes, the daily time frame is bearish, but the daily time frame is above a strong area of buying pressure. You can obviously see when price breaks above, rejection, buy, rejection, buy, rejection, 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 buy. And then when price drops below, rejection, 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 sell. So right now price is above and it's showing us buying signs. Same thing as the 4 hour. The 4 hour is bullish, showing us bullish pressure. 1 hour is bullish, showing us bullish pressure. 30-minute is bullish, 15-minute is bullish, and now the 5-minute is also bullish. So we have all time frames telling us that buying pressure is still here, so it doesn't make sense for us to close. It wouldn't make sense for us to close. This is where we have to sit back, trust that technical analysis that we just did, and basically just see how price wants to continue to develop. We have all the signs, we have our entry signal, this bullish variation pattern happening off of the higher time frames, which is what I like to see, especially after the break and retest. We have the entry signal, and we can typically see now price have the continuation move like we typically do on the other trades that we take, or previous trades that we take, where price shows us our entry signal on the higher time frames and then has that continuation move back towards targets. So we're still holding, obviously, because we haven't hit our full TP level and we haven't hit our stop loss. So we're going to see how price closes in the next 3 hours and 27 minutes to see if we can hit our TP level and possibly get in and out of this trade, or if price does not want to hit that TP level just yet, and we'll just see how price acts or plays out for the rest of the day. And then, later tonight, possibly during London session, to see if we can have that closure at our TP level. So, like always, y'all, updates will be coming. Y'all stay tuned for that. And I'm going to catch y'all later. All right, closing out. Y'all can obviously see the trade. We got back
our loss, 597. Trade had an amazing reaction. We're finding support. Like, it was an amazing trade. We talked about price coming back to retest this 15-minute. I'm gonna do more in-depth breakdown. I'm about to head to the gym, so basically when I get back from the gym, I'll do more of an in-depth breakdown. But break, retest, 15-minute structure. You can see we talked about it. Broke through our 15-minute highs. We had an amazing push during London session. I was asleep. We had our peak highs at like 116. Again, I was asleep, so I didn't really see that. And then price had this pullback, go back towards the 4 hour, which we talked about. Again, you can see how price had this closure. We allow price to have this pullback, have a little retest on the lower time frames, and then have the extension back towards the upside, pushing us to hit our goal for this week, bringing the account back to that 953 mark, which we were at. You can obviously see price had a huge push that probably hit 1,000 more than likely. I would love to see price push a little bit higher, not being greedy, but if price can get to 1,000, that'd be cool, and then we can close out that trade. I want to wait just a tad bit longer. I want to see price just break these little 5-minute highs around here. But since I'm about to go to the gym and I'm not trying to be greedy, we might just close out. Let's see if we can have a wick, some type of push, and go from there. I'm gonna cut y'all on though when I close this trade out, when I'm about to go to the gym. I guess when I leave to go to the gym. Nah, I was just close. That's being greedy. We got back our loss. Yeah, we got back our loss. So good trade, amazing trade, closed out for 3.24% in return, bringing us to 923. Go to our trade history. Almost made back that loss. We was what, $16 off. So amazing trade. I'm telling y'all, the plan works. That's all I gotta say. All right, more updates coming later on. You can see price did exactly what we wanted it to do. Like, this was an overall just amazing trade. So like we talked about, this trade was a counter trend scenario. If y'all don't use what I'm telling y'all to use already, truth be told, I don't know what else to say, because this was a bearish trend. We've got a counter trend set up, and we took buys back to the upside based off of price getting back above an area that recently was used as support. Clear as day. We saw price break back above. We had a beautiful closure, and you saw how price formed this beautiful retracement back down. The 4-hour breaker structure performing the break and retest, but ultimately having the retest of the daily zone. Again, we know this is a well-respected area because every single time price breaks above, we are buying towards the upside. Like, every time we're buying, we're finding rejection, every time. And then when price is below, it's the opposite. So it's not making trading harder than what it is. You're just simply using market data. That's why I always say I trade naked charts. I don't need lines. I don't need indicators. I don't need all these things, because the market alone is going to tell me which way it wants to move. So after we already identified the 4 hour was bullish based off of the breakout of these lower highs, we also knew that the 1 hour was in perfect sync with that 4 hour structure. And knowing that the 4 hour and the 1 hour are in sync, if you just go back towards the trading tip section, we're in a counter trend scenario, and we're only using these time frames to catch this setup. We use a 4 hour to identify the market, also identifying the market on the 1 hour, but this 1 hour time frame, we find that zone. 5-minute breaker structure, 15-minute candlestick entry. After we had identified 4 hour and the 1 hour are in sync, we knew that the 4 hour performed our initial breakout of these highs. Knowing that we're in sync with the 1 hour time frame, where can the 4 hour time frame retrace to find rejection before it continues towards that same direction? Well, 1 hour time frame, the last break of structure was around here. We see that the overall trend is bullish. And as we're in this bullish trend, we see the last structure break was where? We see the last structure break was around here. Knowing that price typically performs break, retest, continuation, I'm a cyclical break and retest trader. I simply wait for price to just form the retracement back towards the recent structure break. Once we saw price work its way back down and start to react from our recent break of structure, also daily structure, this is when we drop towards a 5-minute. And like I said before, when price is forming a retracement back down towards our area of interest, typically on a 5-minute time frame, being in a counter trend scenario, we would see price go from a bullish to bearish trend, allowing the higher time frames to have that retest. And as soon as price tapped back into our area of interest, the initial break, well, the first initial break of structure going from bearish to back bullish happened around here. But you can see clear as day, once price performed this break, you would have thought you found a good entry. You didn't. Price had to push and then had to pull back. Now, having the continuation move back towards the downside due to the break of these higher lows.
Once I saw the first break of structure happen here, I just wanted to see price have the pullback, have the continuation, and then have another break, giving me a cleaner structure break overall. Once that happened, you can obviously see we're in a bearish trend on the 5-minute, but most importantly, if I go back towards the 1 hour time frame, where are we at? We are still at my 1 hour zone daily structure, and we're still bullish overall. So now, going back towards the 5-minute, you can see how now price presents us with the next break of structure, going from bearish to bullish. Clear as day, we can see price have this beautiful bullish move, showing us bullish momentum from this area of interest, or buying pressure from this area of interest, performing a break of structure. So now we found that entry, stops just below that previous bearish candle, and then our take profit, like you all know, the original take profit was around here, giving us back a 1 to 2.23% in return. As we were waiting for price to form this push, we saw price have this slowed down momentum, or in a sense had the push and then have some type of retracement get established. This is when I told y'all that's fine. If you continue to just look at multiple time frames, all the time frames, you can see only thing price is doing is price on the 15-minute time frame has went from this bearish to now bullish trend, and is performing another break retest of the recent break of structure before we then have the continuation move back towards the upside. And if we drag this zone out like we did yesterday on that breakdown, we can see that this 15-minute zone is a well-respected resistance zone as price gets below. And then when price gets above, you can see how we respect it as support. We did it once, twice, 3, 4 times, right? So price is showing us so many signs that it's continuing and it's favoring buying momentum. So why would we close out a trade? You simply wouldn't. So after we went to sleep around 12 o'clock, so like around here, you can see how price then had the push due to London session taking place. And by the time price reached this peak up here, it was around 4 in the morning. Obviously, I'm asleep. By the time I woke up, it was 6 o'clock. Price was starting to form this pullback, but I wasn't worried, because if I go back towards the 4 hour time frame, we can see how this 4 hour candle was the 4 in the morning candle, and this is what price looked like. I already hit my take profit. I told y'all this before, and once I woke up, price left us this huge wick, and price started to form the pullback back towards the downside. A lot of people would have closed out their trades because they believe price is about to reverse, but again, if we just pay attention to market structure, we can see this 4 o'clock candle performed another break of structure on the 4 hour time frame. So after I saw the 4 hour time frame perform another break of structure, I was expecting this candle to have a pullback, showing me another break and retest setup. And instead of price forming the pullback or forming the retracement around here, or starting that retracement on this candlestick, instead price formed a pullback, had the rejection, but it wasn't just a rejection just because. If we go towards the lower time frames, you can see how price was following just market structure alone. Again, we have the overall 30-minute time frame break of structure. We see price in this bullish trend. Price then had the push, break of structure. Price had the retest towards this break of structure, and then had the continuation back towards the upside. Like, this was an amazing trade. Only thing we did was follow market structure alone. Everything told us, hey, this is buying. This is a buying market. So you know what we did? We bought the market. Simple as day. So it was an amazing trade. Like always, if y'all got questions, shoot a message. If you don't have questions, enjoy the video. Stay tuned for the next setup. We got the account back towards that 900 mark, like I said we would, and it wasn't due to my doings. This is everything I do. I give all my praise to the Lord, because Christ has put me in this position to have this peaceful mindset, basically to have that willpower to, even though when we lose, it's not a time to dwell on that loss. It's a time to learn from our mistakes. And like y'all know, that last trade we took was on USD and it was a horrible trade. We was able to identify that the trade was horrible due to market structure. And because of that, we capitalized on our next position based off of us paying more attention to market structure. So this was an amazing trade. There's nothing else to say. Y'all stay tuned for next week, because we are looking to take the account to 2,000. Again, Lord willing. So let's see what happens. I'll update y'all later like always.